What's going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new test hand video. Today I'm very excited to walk through some Speedroid Kashtira test hands for you all. If you haven't seen either my combo video for this deck or my updated deck profile, I'd highly recommend you check those out if you want to play the deck, or if you want to just learn a little bit more about it. I definitely watch those videos first. I'll leave a link to those videos up in the top right or down in the description of this video for you guys to check out. But today we're going to be walking through just some random 5-card hands and just basically walking through them, how I'd play them out, talking about what to do in certain scenarios if we get interrupted with certain hand traps, etc., right? So hope you guys are going to enjoy this. Before we hop into the video, I'd like to give a quick shout out to a longtime sponsor of the channel, Imperium Duelist. They are the makers of this playmat that I'm using here and these really awesome border sleeves that I'm using. These ones are brand new, I believe. They have magical hats and magical cylinders on them, and they look really fantastic. They also just dropped this brand new Demon Slayer themed deck box here. It looks absolutely amazing in person. The artwork on the front and the back is incredible, and not to mention the artwork on the inside of the deck box is also pretty impressive as well. I don't know if it's still available. It's available as I'm recording this, but as this video goes live, I'm not sure of the availability. So definitely head over there to their website if you're interested in picking up this or any of their other amazing products. You can use discount code WINNERKILLS10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel in the process. And if you guys are buying anything off a TCG player, feel free to use my affiliate link. Anytime you guys shop and check out using that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase will go right back into the channel. Helps out a ton. That link can be found in the description of all my videos. And if you guys use Dueling Nexus, check out my creator code down in the description also. Now, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into our first test hand. Alright, so I think that is about enough shuffling there. Let's go ahead and draw into our first 5-card hand and see what we get. Scareclaw Cache, Infinite Impermanence, Pot of Prosperity, Ash, and a copy of Tetherwolf. Alright, so this hand here is pretty alright. It obviously could be better. We do have access to Rubber Band Shooter here through Tetherwolf, which is nice because we can just normal summon it, grab a token, and then just link into Rubber Band Shooter. But that is definitely a much weaker line, definitely more prone to just losing to Imperm on Rubber Band Shooter. So instead, for this hand, I'm going to start with Prosperity. I don't always start with Prosperity, but I think a hand like this definitely could benefit by starting with Prosperity. And I'm only going to actually banish 3 off of this because we really just need to see, you know, Tekatombor, Card Turbo, or any 9 of our other Kashtira cards for this hand to be infinitely better. And plus, if we only Prosperity for 3, our opponent is going to be a lot less likely to go ahead and Ash this card as opposed to us banishing 6. So we're going to leave with the Prosperity here. I typically always banish Stardust Charge Warrior. That's pretty much a freebie when it comes to Prosperity in this deck because you obviously can't draw cards the turn you activate Prosperity, so getting rid of Charge Warrior makes a lot of sense. Now for the other cards, I will probably get rid of Doom Eagle just because I think leaving Win and SP Little Knight is really strong, especially since I think Droll is going to be a very popular card coming up this format. Let's say we just get like Ash off of this Prosperity and we don't get anything we need, and we get Drolled. We can just normal summon the Tetherwolf, summon a token, link into Win, take their Droll, then link into SP Little Knight and banish their Droll if we really want to. But that's a play that we're going to want to leave on the table, and I think getting rid of Doom Eagle is probably going to be fine. Because if we don't know what we're playing against, we don't want to bank on, you know, going for, you know, if we get Drolled, go Win, take Droll, then make Doom Eagle and have it be terrible. We'd rather have something a little bit more generic like SP Little Knight. So I'm going to get rid of SP. I'm going to get rid of the, I'm going to get rid of Win. I'm going to get rid of Charge Warrior, Doom Eagle, and the last card is going to be Zeus just because going first, I think it makes most sense to get rid of what is essentially a, you know, only going second card, and everything else we'll just leave for now. So we get Tekatombor, double Yo-Yo, and another Prosperity. So like I said, that's one of the cards we'd rather have in this particular scenario. So I'm just going to go ahead and take Tekatombor. Now if we get Drolled here, we can still kind of do that same play where we just link into Win, take their Droll, and then link into SP Little Knight. We could also even like make a potential synchro play with just summoning the Tetherwolf, getting a token, tagging out into Duke and making Baron. That's also something we could do. But since we didn't find any of our 9 cash cards, we're just going to normal Tetherwolf here. special summon a token, and I'm not going to burn the Tekatomborg here since I don't think we really need to. So I'm just going to go ahead and link off here into Rubber Band Shooter. And if Rubber Band Shooter gets hit, we can just summon Tekatomborg and then link it to SP Little Knight. We obviously won't be able to use its effect because we'll be locked into winds, but we'll still have an SP Little Knight play with Ash and Imperm. But we'll go into the Rubber Band Shooter. We'll banish the 7 here. I'm going to banish Clearwing, which I think is pretty fine to banish in most cases unless you're playing against something like Dragon Link, which then I would highly recommend leaving that card in, or any matchup where your opponent is constantly using level 5 or higher monsters, or level 5 or higher monsters that target your level 5 or higher monsters, right? But I think generically just getting rid of it's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we do get the double yo-yo there, which is great for us. Now we can spec the, or well, additional normal, the double yo-yo, and then bring out the Terror Top. I am going to grab the Piper here just because I think it's better to grab this instead of grabbing Car Turbo. Just because if we do grab Car Turbo, it's going to force our Tekatomborg to summon the Car, or the Piper rather, so we can get the Excavates. And at that point, we don't end up using a Duke, and I think it's better to get a Duke out of the deck early. So we'll special summon the Tekatomborg, we'll tag out into Dendendaiko Duke, and then we can go ahead and Synchro 7 here into a Clearwing Fast Dragon, and then we can go ahead and use Duke to go ahead and summon out the Piper and Excavate 3 here. I'll just cut the deck really quickly, and we activate Bell, Enemy Controller, and another Tekatomborg. So for this, I'm probably just going to take Bell, just because, again, another solid hand trap, and then we can go ahead and Synchro 7 again into, let's say, Wind Pegasus at Ignister. So yeah, our end board is just going to be Clearwing Fast Dragon with Wind Pegasus at Ignister on board. Of course, if we decided to banish the Wind Pegasus, we could end on Clearwing and Fast Dragon. But we also have 3 hand traps in hand too, which is really, really nice. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 interruptions, 5 technically if you want to count the Wind Pegasus. And we are drawing a Car Turbo for turn, which is not the greatest draw, but, you know, hopefully we can pretty much stop our opponent dead in the water with everything that we have. And yeah, not the best opening, honestly. We definitely could have benefited from seeing a Kashtira card there, but it is what it is. We also potentially could have synchroed into Baron with the Duke, the Terror Top, and the double yo-yo, then just Pipered afterwards. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was probably better just to do what we did because we get one more Excavate, which I think we could benefit from as well. So yeah, I think that'll do it for that test hand there. Let's go ahead and shuffle up and do another one. All right, so that should be enough shuffling. Let's go ahead and draw into our opening 5 here. Enemy Controller, Prosperity, Enemy Controller, Prosperity, Tekatomborg. That is a hand right there. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. We're going to start with Prosperity, and we're going to banish 6. We'll banish the Zeus, Doom Eagle, Charge Warrior, probably also going to get rid of a Dawn Dragster just because we're probably going to use Tekatomborg at some point very early in this combo. And we can also get rid of a Win, and probably one other level 6 or maybe level 7 synchro here. Let's just go ahead and get rid of the Wind Pegasus as much as it pains me. I think this is fine. So we'll go ahead and reveal 6, keeping the necessary things in the extra deck. Duke, Fenrir, Ash, Imperm, Bell, and Droll. So for this hand, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the Fenrir there. I think that probably just makes the most sense. And we're going to go ahead and special summon Fenrir, activate its effect, and go ahead and grab a Unicorn for follow-up. And let's see here. Yeah. I mean, we could still normal summon our Tekatomborg and tag him out for Duke. And then Synchro 10 into Baron if we really, really want to. That is a potential play that we could make. Or we could just leave Fenrir on board with the Duke and set Econ. Set both of the Econs. And just kind of like have this to be an extra body to tribute. Set it up in the grave and take something from the opponent to interrupt their combo. Or we could just, again, synchro into Baron and kind of just call it a day there. Yeah, that's definitely a very rough hand, and I think you can see why. Double Econ, double Prosperity, and we're still getting Defender off the Prosperity is really, really strong, since it definitely allows us to end on a slightly better board with that subpar hand. But let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck here and do another test hand. Alright, enough shuffling there. Let's draw into our opening 5 and see what we got. Duke, Car Turbo, Unicorn, Tether Wolf, and Droll. Alright, so this hand looks pretty solid here. Let's go ahead and start by special summoning the Unicorn. We'll go ahead and then activate its effects here to go ahead and search out for the only spell that it can search out in the deck, which is going to be a copy of Birth. Now, here I'm probably also just going to go ahead and normal summon Tether Wolf and summon out a token. Now, here we also technically don't have to additional normal the Tether Wolf here. There is a line where we potentially normal summon the Duke and synchro into Baron immediately if we are really worried about playing around Nibiru. Then we can go ahead and use Birth to bring back the Unicorn, and then we can go ahead and special summon Car Turbo. And then with Car Turbo and the Unicorn, we can make Rubber Band Shooter. So that is a potential line that we could do. And honestly, that sounds pretty good. So, but then we have, I mean, yeah, because then we keep the Tether Wolf in hand for follow-up, which I think is pretty strong. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that actually. Let's mix things up here a little bit. We'll go ahead and synchro 10 into Baron right off the rip here. And then we're going to go ahead and activate Birth, bring back the Unicorn. And then we're going to go ahead and use Car Turbo to special summon itself. And yeah, I like doing this too because it gets us Duke in the graveyard really early, which definitely helps make our Rubber Band Shooter a lot better. And even if Rubber Band Shooter gets hit with a hand trap here, we obviously have the opportunity to use Baron to negate. But even if we choose not to do that, we can just use Duke to bring out Car Turbo and then link again into the SP Little Knight. So we're going to go ahead and banish a 7 here. I'm probably going to banish Wind Pegasus. And we're going to reveal our classic Terror Top and double Yo-Yo here. Not going to go for Duke and Piper this time around. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, Yo-Yo, 4, 5, 6, Terror Top. We do get just the Terror Top here, which is fine. We use our additional normal to bring out the Terror Top. Terror Top effect is going to go ahead and search for the Fukimadoshi Piper. Then we can go ahead and use the Duke to bring out Piper. And Piper can go ahead and excavate 3 cards in this case. Just shuffle again really quickly before we do so. Revealing Enemy Controller, Fenrir, and Terror Top. We already have follow-up in the form of Tether Wolf. So I think I'm probably just going to take Enemy Controller here just for more sort of non-engine interruption. And we are not wind locked at this point since we did not use Tekatomborg. We can only use wind effects right now because of Car Turbo, and we are synchro locked. But we still can synchro for FA Dawn Dragster here. So I think we'll go for that. You could also, again, go for either of the other level 7s if it's better in that particular matchup. But we end on Econ, Droll, Baron, Dawn Dragster with Tether Wolf in hand for follow-up, being able to get us right back into another Rubber Band Shooter. And of course, Birth being a form of follow-up as well. So pretty solid test hand there. Let's go ahead and reset everything and do another one. Alright, so that should be enough shuffling here. Let's go ahead and draw into another hand of 5 here. We've got Ash, Duke, Ash, and Imperm. That's just funny. I'm going to put these 5 to the bottom and draw another hand. So we had the double Econ and double Prosperity. Then we have the double Duke, double Ash. Let's draw into another hand here. We have Imperm, Prosperity, Car Turbo, Terror Top, and Prosperity. So this hand, I think, is going to illustrate something pretty important. When you have a hand of just cash cards or just Speedroid cards, rather, I think it's worthwhile, if you have Prosperity, to start with Prosperity to try to dig a few cards deep to see if you can't find the other engine. Odds are you should, just because of math. So I'm going to go ahead and use Prosperity here first by banishing 3. I'm going to get rid of Doomeagle, Charge Warrior, and Zeus. And we're going to go ahead and reveal 3. We have Imperm, Scareclaw Cash, and Birth. Not ideal, but, you know, I guess it could be worse there. So let's go ahead and take probably just take Imperm here, honestly. We were looking for a Birth, which Fenrir, of course, is the next card, but this is fine too. So we'll go ahead and special summon the Terratop since we do not have any monsters. And then we'll get to take a look through the deck here to go ahead and search for probably a Tekatomborg. And then we can go ahead and special summon Tekatomborg and special summon Car Turbo. We'll then use Tekatomborg to go ahead and tag out into Fukimadoshi Piper, allowing us to excavate 2 more cards. And I'm just kind of setting up a standard Synchro Climb here into Baron. See what we get. Bell and Car Turbo. We'll just take the Bell, just because more interruption, the better. And then we're going to go ahead and synchro the Terratop and the Piper into a copy of Wind Pegasus, then Wind Pegasus and Car Turbo into Baron. So we have Baron set up on field, we have Wind Pegasus Engrave, and we have double Imperm and Bell. Plus, we still have another Prosperity, and since we only banished 3, we still have some wiggle room here. Try to find some better cards. Next turn, we're drawing another Imperm, and let's say we go 3 deep. It doesn't get us there, and yeah, finding a planet there would be nice. So maybe going for 6 would be a little bit better, but that's, of course, depending on what we draw. And if it's Imperm, then yeah, we probably want to go for 6, not 3, because we are literally unplayable at that point. Only want to go for 3 if you're already playable, but could maybe use, obviously, 1 extra sort of piece of engine. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Let's go ahead and shuffle up here and do another test hand. Alright, enough shuffling. Let's see our opening 5. We have Imperm, Prosperity, Imperm, Econ, and Planet. We are cutting it real close today with some of these hands, man. I tell you, this is a very interesting test hand video. Hope you guys have been enjoying it thus far. I am very tempted, honestly, with a hand like this, because obviously you have to pay attention to something like Droll. Our hand is entirely filled with Rhoda-like cards. So, I mean, we could obviously go with Planet first, search for something like Unicorn, but then our Prosperity is dead. I think, honestly, I'm probably going to go ahead and Prosperity here. 4-6 right off the bat, which feels really bad to do, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to get rid of Charge Warrior, Doom Eagle, Zeus, our primary suspects. I'm going to get rid of Dawn Dragster. I'm going to get rid of Wynn. I'm going to get rid of probably... I don't really want to get rid of Wind Pegasus at Ignister, but I think we might have to. We'll get rid of SP, and we'll get rid of Wind Pegasus. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 7 cards. We don't have to get rid of Wind Pegasus. We'll get rid of these right there. Let's see what reveal. Ash, Fenrir, and Scareclaw. So revealing 3 there would have been fine, but don't want to take the chance. And then we have Unicorn, Ash, and Imperm. I'm probably just going to go ahead and take the Unicorn here. Actually, I'm going to take Fenrir, just because if we get drolled here, I'd rather have Fenrir on my board than just Unicorn. So we'll go for that. And obviously, if they have Droll, we're just going to summon this and pass, as bad as that sounds. But now we're going to go ahead and activate Planet, grabbing the Unicorn. We'll spec Unicorn. Unicorn will go ahead and grab us a copy of Birth. And where is Birth? There it is. And then we're going to activate the Birth, summon the Fenrir for our normal summon, overlay into Dracosac. That is 1 card we definitely didn't want to banish with the way our hand was looking. We'll summon 2 tokens here by detaching the Fenrir. Then we're going to go ahead and... Oh, I'm forgetting. We should have searched off Fenrir. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Should have searched the Scareclaw cache there. My bad. Then we're going to go ahead and link off the Dracosac and a token into our Rubber Band Shooter. And then we'll activate Rubber Band Shooter's effect here, banishing. We'll go with a Clearwing Synchro Dragon. And we're going to reveal a copy of Piper and Duke. Now, since we did end up banishing a lot of our links off of that Prosperity just to get to where we are, if we don't get Duke to our hand, it's going to be a little awkward, but we should still be able to make something work. So 1, 2, 3 Duke, 4, 5, 6 Piper, and we do get the Piper to our hand, which is not what I wanted, but it will have to make do. It will have to make do. So let's see what we want to do here. We have not used Birth. We still have access to Scareclaw, which we might not even really need to use with this particular hand. I think we just play it super simple here, and we just use our additional normal on the Piper just to save Duke and Grave, because we're going to want the follow-up, and we're going to try to play around Nib here as much as possible. So we're going to go ahead and activate 2 more, because I want to save that birth for like the very last moment. And we reveal Car Turbo and Fenrir. The Car Turbo is actually really strong for us here. That's actually huge. So we'll put back the Fenrir. We'll take the Car Turbo. And we're not wind locked. We are synchro locked, however. Now we can use Scareclaw to go ahead and banish Unicorn from the grave. And then we can go ahead and synchro 7 into, let's say, Wind Pegasus at Ignister. And then from here, we can go ahead and use Car Turbo to special summon itself. And then we can synchro 10. We actually don't even need to use the Scareclaw. Yeah, we can just honestly keep the Scareclaw in hand, and then we can just go ahead and use Birth to bring back Fenrir there. So we end on Baron, Wind Pegasus engrave. We still get the Duke engrave as well, which is really, really strong. And we have Fenrir, Baron, Wind Pegasus, Birth, double Imperm Econ, which is pretty strong. We do have some follow-up in the form of Birth, Baron, and of course the Duke in the grave and the Scareclaw cache. So if they happen to clear like the Fenrir early, which some decks are probably going to try to go to battle phase very, very early, just to get rid of a card like Fenrir, which honestly with this on field it might be a little bit harder for them to do, and with Econ, but again, Wind Pegasus kind of punishes those plays. Yeah, pretty solid end board there. We got pretty lucky with revealing the Car Turbo. We could have also revealed Tekatomborg at that point, would have done us just enough good there. So let's go ahead and shuffle the deck here and draw into another test hand. Alright, that is enough shuffling there. Let's draw into our opening 5 for this one. See what we got. We got Unicorn, Terratop, Pot of Prosperity, Unicorn, and Duke. Drawn a lot of doubles lately, but yeah, I'll definitely take a hand like this. I don't think we need to use Prosperity here in the slightest for this hand, at least not to start. I'm going to start with the Unicorn, though. We'll activate Unicorn effect. We'll go ahead and search out for a copy of Kashtira Birth. And, of course, we do have the option here just to activate Birth and then normal summon Unicorn. And then just go into our standard Dracosac play. That is definitely an option that is available to us. Of course, we could also normal summon the Terratop and use its effect there. And then search out something maybe like... search out Piper. And then we could link rather into Rubber Band Shooter. I honestly don't mind the idea of activating Birth here and just normal summoning the other Unicorn. I don't really mind that idea. So we'll go ahead and do that. Overlay here into the Dracosac, detaching, summoning 2 tokens. And now we're going to go ahead and link off a token and the Dracosac, of course, into Rubber Band Shooter. And again, if we do get hit with, a hand trap here on Rubber Band Shooter, we still have Prosperity to follow up with, and we still have Birth to bring back a Unicorn to be able to make something like SP Little Knight or Doom Eagle if we need to. So right here, I am probably going to go ahead and use... We really don't even need to use the first effect of our Band Shooter here, well, the Banish to Reveal effect, since we already have Terratop in our hand. But I think we still probably could get some value out of it, maybe by banishing a 6 here, actually. So right now I'm actually contemplating banishing... So right now I'm currently contemplating banishing a 6 for our Band Shooter here, mainly because we already have Duke in hand and we have Terratop, so it changes the circumstances from what we would normally do. So if we banish a 6, which I'll probably just banish Juju because we're going first and we don't need it, more of a going second card. And we can reveal Car Turbo and Tekatomborg. And that will allow us to normal summon the Duke and get value out of putting that in the grave. And we still get a tuner extender on top of it. So 1, 2, 3, Car Turbo, 4, 5, 6, Tekatomborg. Or actually, we could banish a 7 to reveal Tekatomborg and Piper, because that gives us a guarantee of Piper. And Piper's a pretty damn good card. So I think I'm actually going to do that. I think I'm going to do that. I think that probably makes a lot more sense now that I think about it there. This deck does have a lot of foresight. this deck does require a lot of foresight. It's very tough to play, and I'm still learning the deck myself, trying to get better with it every time I play it. So bound to realize these small little things every now and then. So 1, 2, 3 Piper, 4, 5, 6 Tekatomborg, and we rolled a 5. So we get Tekatomborg. Piper goes to grave. Pretty ideal and pretty optimal thing to have happen there. So now we're going to use our additional normal summon on the Duke. And we can Synchro 6 here into Charge Warrior, but of course that will turn off our Prosperity. But I think maybe we could go ahead and just bring back the Unicorn here with the Birth. Getting nibbed here would kind of suck, I'm not going to lie. But we would still have a play after that. So yeah, we're going to go ahead, because we'd have Duke and everything set up with the token. We could link into win at least. And not the greatest thing, but something we could do, or maybe make SP by just summoning the Tekatomborg, not using its effect. So we're going to go ahead and go into Baron. And then from here, we can spec Tekatomborg, now that we have a way to protect against Nib. Use Duke here to bring out Piper, and then we can go ahead and Excavate for 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we probably just can't go wrong there, just taking Ash. Very generic card. And then we can go ahead and use the Tekatomborg to tag out into another Duke, just to have that set up in the graveyard. And from here, we can go ahead and Synchro 7 into Wind Pegasus, and then we can make a second Baron just to put the Wind Pegasus in grave. Then we can Baron tag out for Unicorn during our opponent's standby phase. So that's something we could do. And we get to keep the Terror Top in hand with follow-up, which is really, really strong for us. But we are wind locked because of the Tekatomborg. We're also Synchro locked. So the only thing is, though, if we just go for a level 7 Synchro play here, we kind of just leave ourselves with a Duke, which is not such a bad thing. The only downside about making 2 Barons is that you kind of just needlessly play into a Talents or a Thrust even right off the rip. But it really depends. You know, I think going for this is fine, because we can just use Baron to pop the Duke, putting that in the graveyard, and then we can just follow up everything here with Prosperity, banishing Wind, Dawn Dragster, Zeus, Doom Eagle, Charge Warrior, and getting rid of SP Little Knight, because we want to leave ourselves at least a 6 or a 7 with a 6 in the extra deck for next turn, just to make Rubber Band Shooter actually viable to climb us into a Baron. Then we want to go ahead and reveal 6 here. Ash, Prosperity, Yo-Yo, Mourner, Tetherwolf, and another Tetherwolf. We do have decent follow-up already in the form of Terror Top. But I'm probably just going to take the Bell here. Take the extra hand trap. Just get that going. And yeah, so we end on Ash, Bell, Baron, Clearwing, Fast Dragon, and Terror Top in hand for follow-up, and Birth for follow-up as well. And we have Duke in graveyard too, which is nice. That'll kind of help set us up. But yeah, what I was saying with the extra deck is usually with the Prosperities and stuff, you do want to try to have as much foresight as possible, thinking ahead, you know, what are you going to need in the extra deck. And this right here is probably your bare minimum. You want to leave a Rubber Band Shooter, right? And you want to kind of calculate for your next Rubber Band Shooter. So we want to leave a 7 that we can banish, reveal, again, like Terror Top and Yo-Yo. And then whatever we get, we want to be able to like Synchro climb into a Baron. So if we get Terror Top, right, we can go ahead and use that to get like Card Turbo, summon the Card Turbo, Synchro with the Terror Top and the Card Turbo into this, send a card, and then Duke out the Piper in our graveyard and Synchro climb into the last card in our extra deck, which would be Baron. And I think that just sets you up with a nice little line. So leaving at least a 6, a 7, Baron, and Rubber Band Shooter, I think you can't really go wrong with, as those are some of the better cards in your extra deck. And then you still have your cash cards to be able to play with too. So that's going to do for that test hand. Let's go ahead and do one more here before we end up wrapping up this video. All right, last test hand of the video. Deck has been shuffled. It's been a weird test hand video. Let's see if we can end it with a solid hand. Bell, Tetherwolf, Fenrir, Tetherwolf, Econ. It's not the greatest hand, but we'll definitely take it. Let's see what our 6 card would be. Prosperity, it's a pretty good 6 card. We'll go ahead and special summon Fenrir here. And we're going to go ahead and search out for a unicorn here, a little bit of a follow-up unicorn. You could search Scareclaw Cache if you wanted like to have the extra level 7 extender. But I think it's better to err again on the side of caution. Take the really, really strong form of follow-up there. Now, if we get drolled here, and I went over this in the combo video, so I won't spend too much time talking about it right now, but we could normal Tether Wolf, summon a token, make Dracosack, summon 2 more tokens, link off 2 tokens into win, take their droll, and make Doom Eagle or SP Little Knight. And then we could also make Doom Eagle. We basically end on Doom Eagle, SP Little Knight with that play there, which is nice. And we still have Econ Bell. So, yeah. Not the end of the world. If we get drolled here, we definitely still have some plays that put up some interruptions. But we're going to go ahead and overlay into Dracosack here. And I'm still going for the Dracosack because we don't have a way to get into Rubber Band Shooter and leave a token without doing this. Now, if we had Unicorn first, we could just link off with Unicorn and the Tether Wolf into Rubber Band Shooter and have things play out, you know, almost the same. But we don't, so we're just going to do it this way. We'll detach the Fenrir, summon out 2 more tokens, so we got 3 tokens on field, right? It's like we just resolved Auroradon in 2024. Rest in peace to the big plane. Now we're going to go ahead and link into, of course, you guessed it, Rubber Band Shooter. And if we get hit with a hand trap here, our play is to just make Doom Eagle. That really is it, because we need an effect monster. Well, actually, I'm lying. We could link off these into win, and then link into SP Little Knight if we want to, or you could just link into Doom Eagle. Really depends on how much you want to do. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and resolve Rubber Band Shooter here. I am probably going to go ahead and banish a 7, of course. And what exactly am I going to go for? If we do the Duke and Piper, if we get Duke to hand, we can normal it, make Charge Warrior, and then Duke out the Piper and make Baron. But if we get Piper, we normal it, Excavate 3, make Baron. Or we could Synchro 2, make 2 level 7s. That's a potential play. I think it's probably better if we reveal Terratop and Yo-Yo here, because we are very kind of low on extenders. So we'll just go for this. So 1, 2, 3. Well, that's not double Yo-Yo. That's Piper. So let's find the double Yo-Yo here. I mean, honestly, you could do Piper or Terratop, and I think that actually would be fine, because if you get Terratop, you can just Duke or Tekatomborg 4 Piper and Excavate 4, and then make Baron. And if you get Piper, you just normal it and Excavate 3, and then Synchro Baron, and that saves the double Yo-Yo. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna do that. We're gonna mix things up here, because now that we have 2 Terratop, I guess it also kind of, you know, helps to prepare for your second Rubber Band Shooter even more, because if we can still leave Terratop, Yo-Yo in the extra deck for as late as we need it, the better we're gonna be off. So 1, 2, 3 Piper, 4, 5, 6 Terratop. We get the Piper to the hand. Terratop falls to the graveyard. Additional normal. And we'll go ahead and just Excavate here, since those cards just, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Excavate here, we find a Car Turbo, a Planet, and a Unicorn. Now, interesting thing here, we could take the Planets and grab Scareclaw Cache, but that doesn't really do us anything. So instead, I'm just going to take the Car Turbo. I think just taking Car Turbo probably makes the most sense, without a doubt. Then here, we'll just Synchro 7 into Wind Pegasus. And then we'll drop the Car Turbo on the field and Synchro 10 into Baron. And then we can go ahead and not link into Doom Eagle, because we are Synchro locked, because we had to use our additional normal. Yeah, so I think that is fair enough. And the token's honestly just good tribute fodder for Econ here. And yeah, we have Unicorn, we have Tetherwolf, we have Bell, we have Baron, we have Econ. Not, again, and we have Wind Pegasus engraved too. So we have a decent amount of layered interruption here. Not really going to get blown out by one specific thing with a board like this. It's not the craziest, flashiest end board by no means, absolutely not. But, you know, it's definitely an end board for sure. And with that is going to be, and with that being said, this is going to be the end of this video. very interesting test hand video with a lot of ups and downs. It was definitely a tough one to film. I don't know why. It's just weird, but either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, WinterKills signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And like always, I want to give a big thank you to our current Divine level channel members, who are Robin's Assistant, HCH Cyber, Misfit Green, Cadillacs, and Pony Stark. Thank you guys so much as always for extremely kind and very generous support of the channel.